Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream, and thank you so much for tuning in for another show. Yesterday, the Palestinian resistance carried out an attack against an Israeli base inside of the Gaza Strip that Israel considers to be one of the safest locations just outside of the eastern part of Khan Yunis. This attack shocked Israel, and it was as if an earthquake happened in Israel. Oh, what is this about? Exactly what they say. Well, a lot of the talk inside of Israel, whether it's coming from politicians or analysts or political or military commentators, are talking about another 7th of October. And they're also talking about the level of failure coming from the Israeli terror army inside of the Gaza Strip, despite the fact that they've been conducting this genocide and barbarism for the past 2 years. So what exactly happened? Yesterday, I published a video about the action itself and what happened with this ambush/attack that happened against this base, and how well coordinated it was, and how Israel was taken aback by it. But Israel and the Israeli army, they started to talk about the fact that they took them down and they eliminated the majority of them. They posted a few videos that, of course, needed verification of 2 Palestinian fighters being killed, and then another Palestinian fighter being targeted as he was going back to that tunnel opening inside of that base, because apparently, according to what we know so far, the Palestinian resistance dug a tunnel in the middle of that base. They popped up exactly in the middle and started to attack exactly what they wanted: the command base, the location where the commander is at, as in, as if they had all of the information detailed, whether it was espionage or surveillance, or the fact that they had some access to the Israeli terror army and their details inside of the Gaza Strip. But today, more people in Israel, military commentators as well, people leaking things in social media about the full video that they're talking about, or at least the unedited video, because the Israeli army, they released details, certain clips, an edited video to show, how good they are. But now we've had a more detailed video coming out, and this was the video. If we can see here, this is the tunnel opening where the Palestinian resistance fighters came out from. Reports said approximately 10 to 20 people, at least 14. We still don't know exactly how much. But this is the base. This is supposed to be the base that the Israeli terror army is at. And in this video, in this version of the video, this part of the video that hasn't been released by the Israeli army, but somehow has been leaked, and we saw that, it's not like it didn't happen before, it did happen. It's showing Palestinian resistance fighters moving back to the tunnel opening without any trouble. I mean, they're not even running so fast, just moving casually, and they're calculating 8 altogether. 4 here, 3 here, another person comes in and goes back inside of the tunnel. A tunnel that has recently been dug, unless it was there before, again, but we can't know exactly for sure. In that base, Israel is monitoring them. They're going back, some of them with their weapons, with their arms, everything, going back to the tunnel, business as usual. One of them is throwing a weapon in and going back in. Okay. What does this mean? How can they go back to the tunnel? And Israel only published a video of them targeting one of them, and then a tank running over 2. And again, the other clip, they needed verification because they're not directly connected. Okay, but assuming that's true, 3 martyred. Israel said that they killed the majority of them. They said we killed all of them, almost all of them, but only a few were found fleeing the scene. So the questions started to arise today. Tough questions coming up from Israel. Some of these questions are, well, the IDF is saying we knew about the tunnel, and they were waiting for one of their elite units to have more details about this tunnel. Why did they not secure the exit of the tunnel? Why did they not take down the tunnel? Again, assuming that what they're saying is true, that they knew that there's a tunnel. Another explanation is, of course, they were caught off guard and they were shook. They were caught really without any preparation. Then, how did the Palestinian resistance fighters, and again, no answers coming from the statement coming from the IDF, how did they manage to go into the building where the Israeli terror forces were sleeping? IDF, they were sleeping in the building. They went in and they targeted them, multiple attacks. Then they're saying, and of course, that's resonating with this video over here. How comes this video, this leaked video, this unedited video, but still not the full video, important to note, showing 8 people fleeing the scene and going back to the tunnel? And again, we don't know exactly how many participated. And we don't know if this video is only a clip and there is another part of that full video that includes more people fleeing to the tunnel. We don't know any of that. But what we know is that this is being leaked now and published across social media in Israel. Some accounts, leak certain things. And by the way, some of them are from the army, because the Israeli army is already releasing certain things that the Palestinian resistance is doing that they never used to do before. It's as if no one existed. Then the Israeli army said it took us 10 minutes to finish the operation. 10 minutes to take down this whole operation. And they targeted all of them. And mind you, there was no face-to-face confrontation. Israel showed like a tank running over 2 fighters and drone attacks against the people. There was no face-to-face fighting. Imagine the level of fear of these people. No one dared to come out and confront the Palestinian resistance fighters, although this is considered to be a base in Gaza where the Israeli army feels comfortable to an extent. So, multiple questions. How comes they went back 10 minutes and then there are reports that it took them 3 hours as well? Then why are they hiding another ambush that took place in Beit Hanun? The Palestinian resistance, and more reports came about a huge ambush coming in Beit Hanun, just on the borders of Israel with Gaza in the north, occupied Palestine, the northern part of the Gaza Strip, a couple of 100 meters, by the way. Why didn't you talk about that? Where did the Palestinian resistance fighters come from? You said, the Israeli defense minister said, we successfully finished Operation Gideon's Chariots. All of the goals were achieved, and we defeated Hamas in 75% of the Gaza Strip that we are now controlling. Okay, does that look like defeat? Just a question. This isn't like in the central hubs of the Gideon's Chariots operation. This is towards the edge and the east, which means it's closer to Israel. Beit Hanun, again, just across a couple of 100 meters. when they had multiple ambushes happening in the same location. And by the way, Beit Hanun is destroyed, as in rubble. Some areas in Gaza, you'll still see a few buildings. Beit Hanun is rubble. Khan Yunis, a lot of it is total rubble. You said you took down everything. Over a year and a half ago, they said that they eliminated 300 tunnels in Khan Yunis. And the majority of the tunnels were completely destroyed. Why, another question, is Israel not cleansing, as they're saying, the eastern part of Khan Yunis? When they said they're done with Khan Yunis as a whole, imagine that's happening on the eastern part that's closer to Israel. 8 fleeing, no 1 bullet shooting at them. People taking their weapons, fleeing as normal, nothing happening. All of that raised a lot of questions in Israel. And many are saying that this is just like another 7th of October. Because despite the fact that Israel is in Gaza, occupying certain parts, they're being surprised by the Palestinian resistance fighters. In essence, as Israel describes it, it's an attack behind the lines, isn't it? If Israel considers this area to be, that's it, it's under our control, and the Palestinian resistance manages to carry out an attack in that area, that's behind enemy lines, isn't it? And it didn't stop there, by the way. There were more attacks being carried out today by the Palestinian resistance. Both Al-Qassam and Al-Quds brigades carrying out more attacks against the genocide forces with coordinated operations. So yesterday we had this attack, and already so many questions are popping up about how did they even do that in these areas. And now another attack coming out, one from Al-Qassam, another one from Al-Quds and Al-Qassam together, combined. Again, attacks in multiple parts of the Gaza Strip. One of them is in near Sheikh Radwan area, in Al-Shuja'iyya, a place that Israel has been in for multiple rounds. Of course, another area that faced complete genocide and destruction. But in broad daylight, the Palestinian resistance is having explosive devices against them, despite the fact that they were facing tanks and constant airplanes monitoring and trying to have any sort of surveillance and everything. Failure after failure. And again, despite all of the genocide and starvation that Israel is conducting inside of the Gaza Strip, they are not able to target the Palestinian resistance to a level where they are able to stop their attacks. And the excuse now officially that's coming from Israel is that, oh, look, Hamas now, they're no longer a semi-military organization. They're like a guerrilla organization now because we, attacked all of their locations. What kind of garbage is that? Despite their limited capabilities and other resistance movements in Gaza, despite their limited capabilities, we're seeing attacks that have never been seen before. On the other hand, we have an army very well equipped, a terror army very well equipped of Israel, but everything is failing with that army. More failures. Now, one of the designated commanders for Yahalom unit, one of the elite units in Israel, he is resigning. The man was supposed to take his role very soon, and now he's saying, oh, personal, professional reasons, I'm sorry, I can't continue to fight. Is that an army that wants to fight? We had reports that one of the people who carried out this ambush that took place yesterday from the Palestinian resistance, one blind with one eye, wounded all across his body, but then he was continuing to carry out attacks against the genocide forces in Gaza. and then you have a leader of a unit and a commander of a unit, and of course all of the others on the other side resigning for personal reasons. Does that look like a state that has an interest in winning, or has any genuine, interest or even belief in what his country is doing? Of course not. No way. Especially not with the recent leaks that are coming out now. 7th of October. I mean, wow. You can probably have a whole dictionary or an encyclopedia around the 7th of October. And now everything is being published in Israeli media, by the way. Netanyahu is still spewing the same venom and garbage, likewise with every Zionist and imbecile about the 7th of October and every propagandist. But their media is publishing everything that's happening or has happened on the 7th of October. With a recent leak talking about a young soldier on the night of the 7th of October, alerting his officers who told him, or who were told by their senior commanders, go back to sleep. This is not that woman from the intelligence unit or another guy who spoke about, oh, something is happening, Hamas is about to carry out an attack. Oh yeah, go to sleep. Fine. They're sitting there 24/7 around Gaza with all of the surveillance and everything, in a wall that they spent billions on, 10 meters over and under the ground, with the most sophisticated technology supposedly, and monitoring by the minute and by the second, and then they can see a fly moving in Gaza and satellite and what have you and all of that. And oh no, you go back to sleep. You saw something suspicious? Fine, no problem. This is another embarrassment. And by the way, yesterday with this attack that came from the Palestinian resistance, a report said that they tried to kidnap another Israeli terrorist. Now imagine that worked. And other reports said that Israel carried out the Hannibal Directive again, by the way. Another Hannibal Directive, as in, with the Palestinian resistance, some of the fighters tried to take him and Israel carried out an attack. But we still can't verify that. We still can't verify that because Israel did not publish the whole thing. They didn't post the whole unedited video. There were only leaks of unedited parts being released. But imagine that happened. Now, Israeli media and Israeli news media as well are saying that Hamas sent a signal with this operation that they carried out yesterday. What is this signal that they sent? They said that an Israeli refusal to the outline or to the negotiations will have serious consequences. We are capable of reproducing the operation. So we carried out this attack yesterday to show Israel that if they want to continue this operation to supposedly occupy the Gaza Strip, we are able to do it again and again and again. And by the way, this is something that they have been proving all along. Multiple attacks carried out that clearly had a lot of thought and process and planning involved. I mean, this was no normal attack or normal ambush or like waiting for forces to come and then you attack them. This is going to the base, to the heart of the terror army and carrying out an operation successfully and withdrawing. When Israel says we succeeded in Gideon's chariots and we're done with 75% and now it's only Gaza remaining. And I think people need to understand the magnitude, okay? Firstly, this is underreported, as like with anything going ahead in Gaza going on, the genocide, the starvation, everything, heavily underreported. Because of the level of significance. because it debunks every single thing that Israel is doing. Now, this is leading to multiple statements and a statement from Benjamin Netanyahu too, but one statement that took place from an Israeli minister sparked a lot of outrage in Israel. It was none other than the Israeli minister Orit Struk. She said, oh, we need to continue the war. She actually vowed that we're going to continue the war even if it kills hostages. Can someone explain to me? Can someone explain to anyone, really? Do these people have like any sort of excuse? Do they have any ounce of anything? The ministers inside of Netanyahu's government are confirming with their mouths, right? With their venomous mouths and tongues, that they're willing to kill their own people just so that they can continue the war. And all of those who are remaining in Gaza now, by the way, are soldiers, are IDF soldiers. Some of them are commanders, some of them are officers. One of them was a leading top figure in the Gaza division that was eliminated by the resistance in under 2 hours on October the 7th. And this woman is coming out talking about, oh, we need to continue the war even if we kill our own people. As you know, again, making our life easier. I mean, what more do you need? They're claiming that this war is to release the hostages, and Netanyahu is saying, well, yeah, if they release the hostages, the war will end. Let them release the hostages first and all of that. But on the ground, nothing. They want to continue, and this hostage thing is just an excuse. And they're confirming it. See, that's the thing. They are confirming it. This is the main point in all of this. Which leads us to Benjamin Netanyahu and some of his recent statements. Firstly, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Australian Prime Minister, they've had back and forth exchanges. Netanyahu is criticizing him, and the man is, anti-Semitic, fueling anti-Semitism and what have you. But Murdoch-owned Sky News Australia, they decided to have an interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. And in that interview, Netanyahu made some statements that included a hint that he just might burn Australia down. And this is not the first time that Israeli leaders have been threatening Western countries that are supposed to be their allies, simply for small criticism. Certain suspicious movements start to happen, and after countries, take a move here and there, with Palestinian recognition or what have you, havoc, protests. Okay, what did he say? He said the following: the more you fuel into this anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, and anti-Western fire, as if anything criticizing the genocide is like anti-everything, the greater the fire will grow. It will consume you in the end. You have no protections unless you stand up to it. Ooh. The fire will consume you, and of course spewing Islamophobic venom and garbage. The fire will consume you, and you have no protection unless you stand up to it. What does he mean by protection? Protection from who? Is a country like Australia like what? Protected by Israel? Or is it something else? Is it Netanyahu trying to activate, I don't know, sleeper cells in Australia? in effect carrying out the same thing that he's blaming the other party of doing, because Netanyahu and some people are saying that, everyone who supports Palestine, oh no, they want to take down everything and they want to destroy the West and they want to da. But the man is outright threatening to take action, and he's telling the Australians, you will have no protection unless you stand up. Stand up for what? Stand up for genocide? What, support Israel's actions inside of the Gaza Strip? What does he want exactly from the people? Does he not want any leader to kind of just have a small criticism? Or, because the Australian Prime Minister, it's not like he crossed the lines. He's saying what he was supposed to say from the beginning. All of a sudden, him and Keir Starmer, imagine Keir Starmer, who supported the starvation and cutting off food and electricity and everything off Gaza. And remember, go back to his statements. He's blaming them of contributing to Hamas, to supporting Hamas. Imagine the levels. But now, and after this attack happened, especially yesterday, Netanyahu is all of a sudden confirming that what? Immediate negotiations. He went to meet with the Israeli army in one of the bases, and he told them, listen, we have the plan to occupy Gaza, and it's going to be approved. Everything is going to go as normal, and that plan is going to go ahead so that we can take down everything. But I authorized immediate negotiations on the release of all the hostages and to end the war. Hold on a second. A few days ago, he's trying to copy Trump, by the way. He's trying to copy Trump in the way where constant U-turns, and trying to seem unpredictable and using that unpredictability as a source of power or leverage in some sense. But that's also to pacify the huge concerns and voices and criticism and refusal coming from within, from the Israeli army who is active, from people who are actively in the Israeli army, let alone the people who, are not coming whatsoever. They're having a huge headache trying to bring people into this Gaza occupation plan. A recent confirmation said that they're short of 12,000 soldiers. And again, all over the place with the numbers. Initially, they said we need 250,000, then we need 100 to 130, then a little bit less. And now they're saying, oh, yeah, we're going to send 50 to 60,000, but 10 to 12,000 short. 10 to 12,000 short when you haven't been able to accomplish anything against the resistance with all of your 5 divisions adding up to approximately 90,000, because Israel doesn't declare how big a division is. But estimations in the beginning, during the intense Israeli presence in the beginning of the Gaza genocide, said that there were approximately 75 to 95,000. Imagine. And now they're saying we're 10,000 short. Take that with the tens of thousands of killed and wounded, but how much do you have? But now he's saying that we're in immediate negotiations. So hold on. The Palestinian side didn't say they're going to disarm. You clearly still have a threat in Gaza, in your comfort zones, and you're still willing to talk. How comes? The other day he said there's no point of talking unless Hamas agrees to the prerequisites of Israel. Disarming, not being active, and taking all of the weapons, kicking every resistance leader out of Gaza, and the list goes on. But now they're talking. So what we can be seeing now, or what we might be seeing at the moment, is a translation of what the finance minister said, and before the finance minister, what we spoke about before, the fact that he could be using this as leverage during the negotiation talks. And so long as he, again, is not very comfortable with his situation politically in Israel, he might continue with the genocide. How? Polls is not doing great. Many people call, of course, not just for the end of the genocide, but also for early elections. He isn't saying that he's going to succeed in any early elections. Some of his partners, some of his coalition members are going to be wiped off. Like Smotrich is not passing the threshold to go into the Israeli Knesset, even if people vote for him. And Netanyahu is finding himself stuck. Why? Because although he still has popularity, you know, he'll still get like about 24 MKs if elections happen like within a week. But that's less than what he had in other times, where he had a little bit more popularity. That isn't going to be enough for him to have a coalition. For various reasons, he's unwilling to take the safety net of the opposition in Israel to continue and run in the government up until the next elections, whether it would be an early election or on time. I mean, it's a little bit unlikely that Israel would go to the normal, you know, preset date of the elections, which is October 2025. But he's finding himself stuck. The accomplishments of, or what he called as the accomplishments of Iran are fading away. He has no option to win the next election. I mean, no option. He's not likely to, based on current polls. And reports are now saying that some elements of the opposition are trying to unconditionally join the government of Netanyahu so that he can reach a deal and remain with him inside of the government up until the next elections. And those reports are primarily circulating around Benny Gantz, who was a member of the war cabinet, a previous ally slash opponent slash ally slash opponent of Netanyahu before. Because his situation in the polls in Israel is also not well. So he might be like, okay, do you know what? I'm going out anyway. Let me try and see if I can do something now. But all of that's still in the realm of the unknown. However, the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu just confirmed that he is indeed willing to go ahead and send the delegation and have talks, all of that indicates that what the Palestinian resistance is doing, alongside the pressure, is actually working. How likely is that to be translated on the ground? Again, you've seen what happens. One day we'll have something, the other day we'll have something else. But this is a huge U-turn coming from Netanyahu, who wasn't even willing to talk unless the Palestinian side agrees on the demands of Israel before they go in. And these were the main things that I wanted to share with you in this live stream. As usual, I hope I shed some light and added some beneficial information for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who participated in the live chat too. Michael and Marvin, thank you for your supers, much appreciated. And Michael, again, thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate it. I'll hopefully have different segments for you in the next 24 hours up until the next video or live stream. In the meantime, everyone, stay blessed, take care, And I will see you soon in the next video. Peace, everyone. Salam.